Hello and welcome back to Throttle Up. Today we are going to review yet another variant of the Kia Seltos because I have covered the HTK Plus and the STX Plus already, but now this is top of the line GTX Plus, which is the only variant as such of the GT line as they call it. It goes without saying that it's brimming with features. There are so many features that it would take me another vlog just to basically take out a notepad and list all the features, but yes, I'll try to cover most of them if not all of them in this specific video. Now for the facelifted version overall for the Kia Seltos next generation 2023, it gets a completely newly designed rear profile. As you can see right there, you get a little bit of changes in the grille and the headlamps as well, and there's obviously a new engine on offer which I'll just talk about in a bit. You get new alloy designs in STX Plus and even the GTX Plus. You get completely new infotainment, you get ADAS now, but yes, let's cover them one by one so that you get a complete overview of the entire car and what all Kia Seltos has to offer now. But before going ahead with the review, I just want to appreciate the subscribers and the viewers that I have, and to basically urge those viewers to subscribe to my channel. It takes in a lot of effort in this day and age of short form content like Instagram Reels and YouTube Shorts without any research or planning or knowledge about the specific car or automobiles in general. It takes a lot of effort to plan out the content, shoot the video, have a proper review and details of what a specific car has to offer. So a lot of effort goes in to keep the old school automotive journalism alive. I know I'm not an automotive journalist, but I'm hoping to be one someday. And the only way for me to know is that when you support me by hitting the like button or hitting the subscribe button. So just let me know if I'm on the right path. How can I bring more value to you and create more content? But yes, you have to be on this journey with me. Now coming back to the review, we have two engine options. One is the 1.5 turbo petrol, which is a completely new offering in this Kia Seltos, and second is the 1.5 diesel, which we have seen in the previous generation as well. This one is the 1.5 liter diesel, which produces 116 PS of maximum power and 250 Newton meters of torque. So in terms of the comparison with the turbo petrol, you get a decent amount of difference in the power because the turbo petrol, which is the new engine, gets 160 PS of power and a similar torque figure of 253 Newton meters of torque. While the 1.5 turbo petrol gets a dual clutch transmission, the 1.5 diesel gets an automatic transmission. So no manual transmissions in this variant specific. Now coming to the front profile, you get the new Kia badging, which we have seen across the Kia lineup. You get a different grille as compared to the previous generation, and there is some sort of differences as compared to the tech line of the new generation as well. This one gets a front parking camera too, because this one gets the ADAS obviously. You get piano black finish, gloss black finishing for the grille, which I really like. You get brushed metal and a chrome for the top of the grille and bottom of the grille. The LED DRLs run towards the center like in a very typical Seltos fashion, but the design is changed somehow. You get a huge air dam as well. You get front parking sensors like right there. You get a front skid plate finished in silver plastic, so it has a nice design and nice treatment overall. I love the paint job of this car. They have introduced this new olive color, which is very nice to look at. If I had 20 lakhs, I would definitely go for this color and this variant. Now for the headlights, you get LED bar like we have seen in the previous generation as well. You get complete LED treatment, the LED DRLs, which run like this in this design. You get two LEDs for the low beam lamp and third for the high beam lamp, which is again LED. You get LED fog lamps as well. Now the sequential is only when you give a turn indicator. Right now the blinkers were on. That is why it was not in a sequential fashion. So those were the three lamps that I was focusing on, and that's the DRL, which reminds me of the Range Rover Velar somehow. Correct me if I'm wrong, just let me know in the comments. You get housing in piano black finish for the front fog lamps, and it has a design which seems like there was ventilation for the aerodynamics, but no, it's closed. It's just a design element, so you do not get any air flow through that bumper. It's just a design element. Now coming to the side profile, the length is 4365 mm and the wheelbase is 2610 mm, so it has grown in length, but the wheelbase remains the same. So I think the boot space might have been increased by just a bit, but the length difference is very minuscule as compared to the previous generation. The wheelbase is 2610 as I said, and the ground clearance is 190 mm, so that's the same. Now the one thing that strikes me in this specific GTX Plus is the alloy design. I love the alloy design. It is so striking and so much more appealing to look at as compared to the HTX Plus's design of the alloy. You get chrome on the door handles with the request sensor. You get chrome on the door sill as well, which runs till the very end of that side rear profile. and has this design. You get very nicely done roof rails which are non-functional, but I love this gloss black treatment with the silver treatment. So I like how they have played with colors, and this green paint job is amazing. I love this color. You obviously get a blind spot camera on the co-driver side and a camera on this side as well, because it gets 360 parking cameras, ADAS and whatnot. Now this is a 17 incher, mind you. It's 215 R55 R18. No, it's not a 17 inches, R18 incher, and I genuinely like this design. It's not something which polarizes you like the Alcazar or the HTX Plus, but it feels sporty as it should in the GTX Plus. Now for the rear profile, you get a completely new design for the GTX Plus of the Kia Seltos. Not just compared to the previous generation, but also to the tech line, because you can see that bumper is completely different to what we have seen in the HTK Plus or the HTX Plus of the 2023 lineup. The rear is genuinely nice. It stands out in a good way. Again, the design, what has been changed, appeals to my eye. You can let me know in the comments what do you think about it, but yes, it's a good departure from the previous generation, because that was looking sort of bland. Now you get integrated spoilers finished in this gloss black treatment, a stop lamp, rear defogger, rear washer and wiper, obviously because it's brimming with features. These are the basic ones. Definitely you get Kia badging right in the center, and you get connected tail lamps which have a very similar design to that of the front LEDs. Now this is how it looks like when it's lit up. The turn indicators lit up are obviously LED, and they light up like this. No sequential treatment, as I said, when the blinkers are on. It only gets it when you basically are turning the car. Now the LED treatment, the LEDs look genuinely nice. I like how they have done the overall design, as I just mentioned. You get Seltos badging on the left. You get, what badging is that? That's a GT line badging. Okay, so no TGDR, because that's obviously not a turbo petrol. Now for the rear bumper, which is specific to this generation and this variant of the car, so you get a lot of straight lines at the center. You get so many elements. So that's the reverse lamp, this is the reflector, and these are slanting black lines which have no function whatsoever. But yes, they do give that feel of fake exhaust, because the real exhausts are definitely not in that bumper. That's obviously at the bottom. You get a silver rear skid plate, which is very nice to look at. But yes, somehow the bumper still feels over designed, but it still does the job nicely, because the overall rear profile is very sporty and very in your face, but that does still get the job done very nicely. Now the big part that it misses out on is the power tailgate. You still have an electromagnetic button, so there is no power tailgate. For the boot, the boot space is 433 liters and has a completely flat loading lip. The fifth wheel is not an alloy, it's also not the same size, so that's an R17 steel wheel. You get obviously a lamp right there, 60/40 split for the rear seat, and the subwoofer, the Bose subwoofer, because this one gets a 9-speaker setup with 4 tweeters and 4 speakers. But yes, power tailgate is definitely a miss. I would have loved if they have given a power tailgate specifically to the GTX Plus, because they are almost competing with the mid and the lower trims of the Tata Harrier, and this being the Kia, I sort of had an expectation of a power tailgate in the topmost variant. Now for the door pads, you get black and white treatment in the interiors for the GTX Plus. It gets soft and hard treatment. So this is soft, this is soft. The door pads is soft. This is a completely soft. This is hard. The bottom part is hard, but this is soft, and this is very nicely done, very premium gloss black finish, which merges with the door handle in a very nice fashion. I love this design on the Bose speaker that they have done. Very 3D and very nice. It just elevates the overall experience when you look at that speaker. You obviously get the sun blinds for the rear, and they're easy to operate, just like we have seen in the other cars as well. Now for the colors in the interior, I'm generally not a fan of black interiors, because they just give a perception of low space. Even though this is not short on space, we have ample amount of space, be it the leg room, be it the thigh support. The recline angle is decent, it is nice, and you can obviously recline it to a greater angle, so that's good. You get scooped out seat backs with magazine holders, and even if when the co-driver seat is pushed towards the back, I still get decent amount of space at the back. You get a little bit of hump at the center, so that does compromise some space for the third passenger in the middle, and still I am very much comfortable. The recline angle is generally good. Headroom does take a hit because of the panoramic sunroof, but still it's not that my head is touching the roof. You get LED treatment for the cabin lamps at the corners because center obviously houses the panoramic sunroof. You get 3 adjustable headrests, which is again a nice touch. You get armrest with 2 cup holders, which is an industry standard in a 20 lakh rupees price segment car. So overall, a good space to be in. You get 2 AC vents with 2 Type-C sockets and some space to keep your stuff or maybe your phone. So in terms of ergonomics also, and how can I forget, since this is a Hyundai / a Kia car, you get an air purifier as well. This is plastic treatment, so complete proper scooped out treatment. This is not a fake scoop out treatment that they've given, so that's completely nicely done, and it gives me a feeling of being seated in a more expensive car. This is the dashboard that you get in the GTX Plus. We obviously have the new infotainment and the instrument cluster, and gets the connected car tech and all of that jazz. We'll cover that in just a bit. But yes, black and white interiors, and specifically this upholstery, that design on that upholstery feels like it's fitted from the outside market. So they could have worked more on the seat upholstery design. So look at that design. Does it feel like it's just I went to an aftermarket place and then just said ki is pe leather covered, although something of that sort? So I'm not very impressed with the design of that upholstery. The colors I can still work my way around with, but yes, that design does not look good to me, and that's a problem because you cannot even change that because of the ventilated seats and whatnot. So, and why would you change a leather upholstery, the company fitted leather upholstery? So yes, that design could have been definitely better. The door pad treatment on the front also remains the same. You get very nicely done gloss black treatment with the tweeters now as well. You can see the 2 tweeters at the front in the door pad only, which is not the same case in the rear door. The same design on the Bose speakers. You get obviously electrical adjustable driver seat. This is for the recline angle of that support. You get lumbar support. You get electrical adjustability for the position and the height support as well. So there's no lumbar support, but it's 6 weights. There's no lumbar support because lumbar support should have had a different lever or a button. You get 2 buttons because it's an automatic. The engine start stop button is right there. Traction control button, auto start stop enabler, headlight leveler, and the one that you see at the bottom is for to open the bonnet. The AC vents, these ones remind me of the previous generation because that's exactly the same design that we have seen in the previous generation as well. Now coming to the cockpit of the car, the place to be in, be it whatever engine you are driving, you just have to be in a driver's seat. You are spending a lot of money on a car, you might as well be excited to drive it. Now I would not be driving this car today, but yes, for the interiors, you get a leather treatment on the steering wheel, has a flat D-cut treatment, says GT line right there at the bottom, has a third spoke, which I really appreciate. I love the third spokes on the car. Please do bring third spokes back again. Are you hearing me, Skoda or Hyundai? Please. Now you get buttons which are very similar to what we have seen previously. You get 2 stalks for the wipers and the headlamps. You get paddle shifters now. This is an automatic, the top of the line GTX. So the paddle shifters are great touch. You get telescopic and tilt adjustability for the steering wheel, which we have seen in the HTX Plus as well. So that's only for HTX Plus and GTX Plus where you get the telescopic function. Tilt is basically for the other variants as well. Now let's start the ignition. There's a very nice Kia animation which comes up with a good sound, and the sound is amazing, mind you, because that sound system is a thing of beauty. I love the sound in this car. The moment you hear that animation and that sound coming up, it feels theatrical to some extent, and that crisp display at the top, it is an experience, honestly. It's very nice. The one thing which irks me a little bit is this pinkish purplish theme on the infotainment, which I just can't get to change. I hope it is changeable and I can change it to different colors, but right now I'll just switch off this sound of nature thing. But yes, even sound of nature is an experience because of that brilliant sound system. Now coming to the newly designed 10.25 instrument cluster, which is a thing of beauty, honestly. It reminds me of the Hyundai Tucson, and I love that they have given analog treatment even in a digital format, because the digital digits is something that I don't think any of us likes. I don't know why the automobile brands do it, but yes, this one gets the ADAS, cruise control, and a lot of information in this MID, from driving information to compass to tire pressure monitoring system to obviously the ADAS level 2 suite, which gets 17 features in total, from front collision warning to front collision assistance, obviously for pedestrians, cars, cyclists, and junction turning as well. Get rear cross traffic collision warning, lane assist, lane departure warning. There are so many features, I don't even remember half of them now, but yes, the ones I remember I told you. The other ones, how do they work is that you get cameras from in the front and the windscreen. You get two on the sides and then at the rear, which collate all of the data and then send the signal back to the instrument. And this is how you can change the look and feel of the instrument cluster. You get four options, four modes to choose from, and personally I like this one because this is classy and minimal, but yes, you can change the look and feel as well. You get very nice connected treatment for the infotainment and the instrument cluster. Now coming to the infotainment, which is also new in the sense that it gets more features and a better, crisper resolution, which was already very nice in the previous Kia Seltos. You get maps, sounds of nature, connected car tech, you get Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, which is wireless, but no, not in this one. You do not get the wireless because in the 10.25 for some reason, which is ironically in the top upper variants, you get wired Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, but in the 8-inch infotainment, which you get in the HTK Plus, you get wireless, which is very strange indeed. For the other bits, you obviously get the layouts, which this is how you can change the instrument cluster look and feel. You can see at the extreme right that I can change how the instrument cluster looks like. You can change the screensavers, whether you want an analog clock, digital clock. You can adjust the brightness, the blue light, so many features. But yes, obviously some things I'll leave for you when you buy that car, but still it's just very extensive. The one thing that I definitely would have shitted a lot is a wireless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. You obviously get equalizers and balance and faders for the Bose speaker setup, and Bose speaker setup is amazing. It's fantastic. It feels like I'm sitting in a theater when the sounds of nature were playing when I just sat in the cockpit. It feels like it's a theatrical experience or I'm in a home theater kind of setup. So that was nice. The AC vents feel super premium. The plastic quality is very sturdy and they very nicely flow with the overall dashboard design. This is soft, but there are a lot of hard treatment on the dashboard. So this is hard, which is not really done. This is soft on the front of the dashboard, and you get a decent amount of depth from the windscreen to the overall dashboard. So that's nice. It gives a feeling of a bigger car. The AC controls are amazing. They're a thing of beauty. I love the black treatment for the AC vents and the very nice feedback when you press each and every button, coupled with a silver finish for the media controls, where you get two rotatable buttons for the track changes and the volume changes, which we are not seeing in many of the cars. Rotatable knobs are always appreciated. Please take a note, any of those automobile brands which are hearing me right now. You get electrical wireless charger, blue link connectivity as well, 12 volt socket, USB socket, and a type C socket with some space to keep your phone or some other stuff. The gear knob feels really nice to hold and has a very nice fit and finish. You get buttons for the ventilated seats for the front two seats. You get a 360 parking camera button and obviously a park assist button on the right, which is finished in the center console, and the center console finished with this matte and gloss black treatment coming together is really nice. You get a rotatable knob for the drive and traction control modes as well, and when you control it, you can see it in the instrument cluster. So drive modes get eco, normal, and sport, and traction controls are mud, sport, and snow. So that's for the drive and traction controls. Kia's product and design team have knocked it right out of the park because everything feels right, exactly in its place. The colors have just the right amount of contrast with the blacks coupled with silver and chrome. You get two cup holders which have the sliding functionality so that you feel that you're in a much expensive car. You get electric handbrake specifically for the GTX Plus variant because you do not get it in any other variant. You get some space to keep your key. The auto hold button is right there with the handbrake. You get a center console armrest which is finished with leather and white stitching that houses the air purifier, and you get decent amount of space in the center console armrest, although there is no lining, but I'm not complaining because it still feels like a very premium and a very nicely thought out interior. For the other bit in the ergonomics, you get a glove box, which where is the cooling function, but I do not see that regulator, but yes, it might have that. You get sun visors on both the sides which have a mirror on just the co-driver side. There's no mirror on the driver side. It misses out on the lamp as well, which is kind of a miss. You get a sunglass holder and cable lamps which have LED treatment. You get one touch operation for the panoramic sunroof, which is huge, and obviously you get automatic blinds, and that glass pane which basically opens is very big. So amazing job. The blacks do obviously eat up that perception of airiness in this interior, but when you open the blinds, this actually makes up for a very nice airy interior. You get seatbelt adjusters, you get good bolstering and very nicely comfortable seats. overall all the 5 seats are very comfortable. The design, as I said, in the upholstery could have been a little different, but yes, I cannot complain. For the safety features, obviously ADAS gets 17 features like I mentioned, but there is something which is very nice from coming from Kia, because I think they have taken notice of the customer feedback and the overall feedback which was there for the overall Kia cars till last year, because now they have kept all the safety features as standard, wherein you get 6 airbags as standard, you get tire pressure monitoring system as standard, ABS, hill start assist, vehicle stability management, electronic stability control, rear parking sensors also as standard, but this one also gets the front parking camera and front parking sensors because of ADAS and 360 parking camera. So the list just does not end. As you can see, you also get the rain sensing wipers as well, which I forgot to miss, and that's specific to the GTX Plus line variant. And yeah, the black treatment on the roof is also specific to this variant particularly. As for the pricing, be it the 1.5 turbo petrol or the 1.5 diesel, you get the same price tag, which is 19.8 lakhs ex showroom. So it might cost you around 21 to 21.5 lakhs on road. Kia Seltos has a lot of competition from the likes of Hyundai Creta, MG Hector, Maruti Suzuki Grand Vitara, Tata Harrier to some extent, Toyota Hyryder, and the newly launched Honda Elevate as well. But does the Kia Seltos stack up against its competitors? For sure, definitely. It gets a lot of features. The 1.5 turbo petrol definitely packs a lot of punch and has the capability to go up against the likes of the turbo petrols of the Taygun or the Skoda Kushaq as well. So yes, it does have the capability, the muscle and the design to take against its competitors. The only thing which I would want to wait is the NCAP rating, because a lot of Indian customers might have apprehensions regarding the Kia Seltos. But yes, given the standard features that they are providing right now across the variant lineup, does make up for a lot of peace of mind. As for which variant should you go for if you are in for a budget of 20 lakh rupees, the GTX Plus or the HTX Plus? The HTX Plus, if you're going for a manual, definitely makes a lot of sense, because in 18.3 lakhs ex showroom you get most of the features, excluding I think the ADAS or the 360 parking cameras. Apart from that, you get most of the features and the tan interior which looks beautiful in HTX Plus. But if you're going for an automatic in the 1.5 turbo petrol, for example, HTX Plus will cost you around 19.2 or 3, and this cost you 19.8. So there's not a lot of difference when it comes to the ex-showroom prices. So that at that point, that basically is your choice. You get a lot of sporty appeal in the GTX Plus, and obviously the ADAS and 360 parking camera along with rain sensing wipers and some features here and there in a difference of 60,000 does make sense. But that is only for 1.5 turbo petrol DCT. If you are in for a manual in the 1.5 turbo petrol, which I believe should be the engine that you should go for because diesels are being phased out, I should recommend the HTX Plus sensibly. But yes, if your preference is DCT, I think close your eyes and go for the top of the line GTX Plus variant of the Kia Seltos. So that was my take on the GTX variant of the Kia Seltos 2023. Do let me know in the comments what do you think about this car and whether would you buy one, or what particularly impresses you the most about this car. Is it some design element or some feature which just blows your mind away in a car of this segment? So keep watching Throttle Up and do not forget to hit the like and the subscribe button. Keep watching Throttle Up.